Hi, I'm Jenny Liu. Welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to practice the very yummy pigeon pose to open our hips. We will do 3 variations. The first one will be the traditional one, the next 2 modified for our knees and hamstrings. Okay, so hopefully you've done some sort of warm-up already to open up your hip joints and warm up the hips, hip rotations, and then you have your yoga mat and either a beach towel or yoga blanket. Let's get started. So ideally, after you've warmed up your hips a little bit with some gentle stretching, maybe even some strengthening exercises, we can go from downward facing dog to pigeon. Okay, so let's start. So coming onto your hands and knees, tucking your toes and slowly bringing your hips up and just gently press a few times. So lowering your heels down one at a time, walking your dog. So stretching out the hamstrings a little bit, one side and the other, and then just kind of feel your hips, your lower back. Okay, so if it's okay for you, you can slowly, softly bend both knees and then pressing the heels down. And then you can take your right leg all the way up, go into 3-legged dog. And then slowly from here, we're going to shift the weight forward. So you're going to bring your right knee closer to where the right wrist is at. Okay, so dropping your front shin down. And then once you're there, you're going to just feel like you are having like tripods. Okay, so both hands on the outer edge of your mat, and you're just going to slowly wedge your foot back. Okay, so back foot is going to keep going back, and I'm going to give you options. So you can either keep your back foot toes tucked, or if you want, top of your foot can be flat. Okay, so you can feel, if your knees don't feel well, you can also put blanket, under the knee, or maybe just keep the toes tucked. So one thing to know is that your right knee is going to be really close to the right wrist, and then your front foot is going to be either, if you are very flexible, your shin is going to be parallel to the front edge of the mat. Now, I'm not that flexible over there, so I am going to just stay. Most of us, we're going to do much better with the foot closer to the other hip. Okay, so right foot closer to the left hip, and then your back leg will be in the middle, in the center line of your body. Okay, so once you're here, take a breath, inhale. When you exhale, dropping your tailbone a little bit more, you can look forward, you can look up. You can also come onto the fingertips, so tenting your fingers. So again, so feel it out. If your knee's okay, you can flatten your top, the top of your foot, or you just tuck your toes, and then stretch. You feel a little bit deeper stretch for the left hip flexor. Okay, so we're gonna use the blanket because sometimes you can rock like this a little bit. You can also have a little bit more support. If you put this blanket right here, probably feel like you're a little bit more supported, so the hip is not hanging there. So from here, you have the option, if you want, coming down deeper, closer to the floor, onto your elbows, and then just rock your hips a little bit side to side. And then some of us, we want to maybe extend the arms all the way forward, and you can drop your forehead down, and you can also flatten the back of your hands and just resting your forehead. So you can say whatever that feels good, and then just breathe into the belly, breathing out. So receiving that stretch on the outer hip, sciatic area, those deep hip flexors. Okay, so slowly taking your time, lift your head up, walking your hands back if they were extended ahead of you, and then just putting your hands back. So we have the tripod, 2 hands, and then the back foot. Right, prop the back leg up, and then you can slide the blanket away. And then from here, pressing into your hands, and then going back, just keep going, pedal out a few more times. Your downward facing dog, and then your 3-legged dog on the other side. And from here, taking this leg forward, so shift your way forward. And now you can see my foot better this way, okay? So as you come down, your left knee is closer to the left wrist. And then you can just wedge that back foot away, either flatten the top of your foot or tucking the toe. So feel it out, whatever that works for your body, you're gonna just do that version. Fingertips on the floor, you can prop yourself up, so get into a tall posture, stretching your back, and then feel the hip flexor, breathing in and breathing out. And then if you want, right, you can slide the blanket right under the other thigh, a little bit more support. If you want to go a little deeper, coming down onto your elbows, and then rock, right? So as you rock, you can massage the outer hip, especially the leg that's on the front. And if you want, you can go forward. You can rest your thigh completely on the ground and just breathe. And just make sure you're honoring your body, taking the variations you need, right? If the knee's really not happy in this position, we're going to go over what to do next, okay? So taking your time, slowly walking your hands back so that you are back to where we were before, okay? So to come out, plant your hands, make your legs strong, going back to downward facing dog. Pedal out a few times, both knees soft, descending the heels. And then you can slowly come on down. Okay, very good. So we're going to go over 2 more versions. So let's say your knees were just really not happy in pigeon, especially that back knee with the pressure. So there's a seated version you can practice and then a reclined version, okay? So we're going to just sit up tall, and you're going to pick up, let's pick up the right leg, and then from here, slowly, shin parallel to the floor. You're just gonna pull your knee closer to your armpit. Do that a few times, and then slowly externally rotate this hip joint, and you're going to pull your foot in closer towards you, so you can hold your foot in your hand this way. So your shin parallel to the floor, you can feel your knee is stable. You want to flex at the ankle. So you just go like this, side to side. So you still get the similar stretch without stressing out that bottom knee. Okay, so if you are more flexible, okay, you go like this. If you're more flexible, you can bring your foot into the crook of your elbow, and you can rock like this, okay? So from the side, I just want to show you. Okay, so from the side, you want to make sure your back is staying fairly upright and you're flexing at the ankle to protect the knee. You want to make sure you're not stressing out the knee because the hip is not flexible. Okay, so just do that a few times, rocking a little bit, and then bottom leg, if you want to engage that leg, press through the ball of your foot. So a little bit side to side. You will feel a nice stretch around the outer edge of your thigh, like your hip joint, so you can feel it. So again, if this is too much for the knee, just come to, your hand holding the foot. Okay, so slowly coming back, you can sit up tall, give that knee a nice hug, a little bit of gentle rocking, and go over to the other side. So leg up, so like an archer, pull back, knee closer to your armpit, externally rotate, and then starting with your hand holding the foot and your knee stable. So about 90 degrees here, 90 degrees there, and you're just gonna rock a little bit side to side, keeping the back fairly straight. And then if this feels good, hug, and then just rock that baby. Exhale out. Right, so keep checking. Is this okay for me? For the leg that you're stretching, the outer hip area, bottom leg is engaged. Okay, just a few times, and then slowly you can let this leg come back, hug that knee, and then slowly sitting down. You can bring your hands behind you, gently tap the back side of the legs and rock a little bit, relax your hip joints. All right, sitting up tall. Give yourself a nice wiggle. Good job. So reclined pigeon pose or eye of the needle pose is really good for us to not only open the hips, but also kind of taking the knees and the hamstrings into consideration if they are, they weren't really happy in the regular poses. Okay, so let's get started on our backs. So lower yourself down onto your mat. Make sure you have a nice contact along the whole entire back, from the back side of your head and your shoulders all the way down to your tailbone. Okay, and then your feet are planted on the ground, and you can rock your pelvis a little bit, massage your lower back, your sacrum, and then let's practice with the right leg first. Okay, so draw the right knee in, slowly stretching the leg up. You can point the toes, flex at the ankles, and then bending the knees, externally rotate your hip joint, resting your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So right here, once you have your figure 4, pick up your left foot off the floor. So 2 ways to hold the left leg. Okay, so eye of the needle is to thread the right hand in between the leg, meet the other hand right behind that left thigh. So from here, take a breath into your belly. When you exhale, as you draw your left thigh in, your right elbow actually is going to help you to open the right hip a little bit more. So make sure that right knee is stable by flexing at the ankle and just draw the leg in. So make sure you don't overdo it. Inhale and exhale. Okay, so the other version is to hold your knee on the leg that's further away. Exhale. We're just flexing at the hip joints. You don't need to take your tailbone off the floor too much. It's off a little bit, not too much. So sending healing energy to the right hip joint, outer hip, outer thigh area, sciatic area. Great, and then slowly you can lower the left foot down and then uncross the leg, take soft fist, just tap wherever you feel the stretch, right? Sciatic area, tapping to release some tension. Okay, and letting that foot rest, and then taking your left knee in, stretching the leg up, point the toes, flex the ankles, and then bend the knee, externally rotate your left leg, and then rest, right? So making our figure 4, eye of the needle, pick up the right foot, go meet. Yeah, so your left hand, right hand, gonna meet right behind the thigh, right thigh. Take a breath into the belly. As you exhale, draw your right thigh into the chest. Okay, breathing in, breathing out. So don't overdo it. We do not punish the knee for what the hip cannot do. So we do very gentle, kind movement. And then if this feels better for you, you can hold the knee for the knee that's further away. Inhale and exhale. Flexing at the ankles, sending healing energy to your left hip. And slowly you can relax your right leg down, uncross the leg. You're just going to tap a little bit wherever you felt the stretch. So kind of diagonal coming out from your sacrum. Okay, very good. So once you're here, you can rock a little bit, and then taking your time, rolling over onto your right side. Pressing yourself up to a seated posture. Yeah, so practice these variations, whichever version that works better for you, for your hips, for your knees, to get a little bit more mobility, flexibility in your hip joints. So we hold tension, not only physical tension, but a lot of times emotional stress too in these hip joints. So take care of your hips, take care of your body. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, click the bell next to it so you'll get notified when I come out with a new video next time. Let's keep practicing, and I will see you in the next video.